Yo, what's going on, Cowboys fans? It's your boy Foots the King coming at you guys on this rainy, very rainy Wednesday afternoon. Draft season is here. We're fully immersed. Fully immersed. Say that like 5 times. Fully immersed. We're in it. This is draft season now. Almost like a month away. Basically like a month away, low key. It's on the 28th, I believe. Hopefully I didn't get my dates wrong. But I'll be out there with a bunch of other Cowboys YouTubers. And the topic at hand today, and I wrote a bunch of stuff down on it. You guys can see, man, I'm putting in the work, y'all. Me and Joe Rod doing a mock draft tonight, too, on Cowboys Huddle. So that should be cool. But the Cowboys, the whole brash is at Alabama's Pro Day, their kind of second workout. They had the initial one after the Combine, and now they're doing a second one. So what does all this mean? Well, we obviously know the relationship between Garrett and Nick Saban. They trust each other, work together in Miami. So there's a relationship there and there's a bond there. Not to mention that the last time the Cowboys kind of sent the whole staff, it was for Ezekiel Elliott, and they obviously drafted Ezekiel Elliott. And then if we go back all the way to 2011, which hasn't kind of been reported, well, hasn't been covered as much, but they went to USC. This was Jason Garrett's first full year as a head coach. Man. And then they drafted Tyron Smith. It's been a long time. Jason, you got to start winning some games, Jason. But nonetheless, Alabama is known. They're a powerhouse. We obviously know that. They won a championship this last year. A bunch of players just filtered through that program, and some coming to the league and are D. Milner and Dre Kirkpatrick, and some coming to the league and are Landon Collins and C.J. Mosley. So it's all about when they leave Alabama, what's the plan for these players nonetheless. So the obvious one, and obviously Cowboys fans are starting to get on this Calvin Ridley thing. I'm more on the Rashaan Evans side of things, but I want to go over some of these prospects, and it's cool to think that the Cowboys are just going to be able to just stand pat and take and take Calvin Ridley. Well, there are other teams that are drafting. One that comes to mind for sure who would take him is the Baltimore Ravens. So that's just one example, but I'm going to go through some of these prospects. I'm going to give you guys kind of a rundown just in case you guys forgot how they would fit with Dallas. And then I'll come back and kind of give you what would I do more or less and who I would take. Let's say Calvin Ridley's not there and you're washed out. A forgotten guy is Ronnie Harrison. So let's talk about these prospects really, really quick. All right, guys, we're talking Calvin Ridley. Wide receiver prospect number one, widely regarded as wide receiver prospect number one. He's just smooth route runner, has speed to take the top off of defense. You worry about his size a little bit, but, I mean, there's really not much you can say. Definitely like a Marvin Harrison type comp. He's small, but he's feisty. He's just a really good player, can separate in so many different ways. I really love the player a lot. Ronnie Harrison, the forgotten guy. Great tackler. Surefire tackler. Could improve a little bit with his angles, and his angles especially in coverage. But if you use him as a box guy, I really think he could help a team. Plays with attitude, and he's not small. So he's not a smaller safety. He's 6'2", 6'3", and he will come down and he will stick you. And he has made plays in coverage. That's just not his game. He's not a free. He's not a roamer type of a guy. Here's my guy right here, Rashaan Evans. Just plays with the attitude. And really, that's the thing that you like about Nick Saban, coach kids. All of them have that dirt to them, that attitude. And it will bring an attitude to this team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think that Rashaan Evans is the real deal. Could free up Jalen, could free up Sean, and you could just go play ball. You could go play football. Surefire tackler, could do some things in coverage. I love this player a lot. I really, really do. Deron Payne is kind of the guy who I haven't really covered. He's just a hog. Came to Alabama at 350, dropped that weight. His motor sometimes isn't always full go, but I think that if you get him on this defense with Rod Marinelli, who really knows how to coach the defensive line, he could chew up blockers. He could free up your linebackers. And I think that this defense could just really go. And the ball would have to come out quick because he's he's actually gotten better as a pass rusher as well. So he's for sure the best run stuffer in this draft, including Vita Vea. And what he did in the championship game was nothing short of amazing. Okay, guys, so those are the prospects. Like I said, Alabama is a powerhouse. For me, if I had to rank them, prospect number 1 who I'm going after is Rashaan Evans. I haven't moved from that stance. I don't think that wide receiver and drafting a wide receiver hits a very strong need. It's about where do you rank these players and how they come in and can help immediately. I love Calvin Ridley, and I think that he would be a good player even in Dallas. But I think that if you want to make your defense stout, you want to free up Sean Lee and Jalen Smith. I was about to say John Lee, Jalen and Sean mixed together. But if you want to free up Jalen Smith and Sean Lee, you draft Rashaan Evans, somebody who could take on blockers, somebody who finishes so strong at the point of attack. He'll be there for you. Now you have a stout defense. Number 2, this might surprise you guys, but Daron Payne. I think that he could be a true 1 in this system, a true 1 tech, a guy that could eat up blockers, get him with Rod Marinelli, get his motor going. He came on strong at the end of the season last year. But he has questions about his motor and if he always plays with physicalness. But then in the championship game, he basically won that game for Alabama. He was all over the field. Georgia couldn't block him, and they have a very good offensive line. So that's something to think about. Let's say you get washed out. And then number 3, let's say you get washed out with Calvin Ridley. Baltimore takes him. You don't want to move. Dallas doesn't want to move. Now, they could trade, but there's no way I'm trading up for a receiver. I just wouldn't do it. A playmaking safety like Derwin James, of course. You guys know I love Derwin James. But the backup plan to Derwin James is Ronnie Harrison. He was one of my first scouting breakdowns. I love Ronnie Harrison. Plays around the box well. Can do some things in coverage. He's a poor man's Derwin James. He didn't make the plays of a Derwin James, but because he's not quite as long. But I think that Ronnie Harrison would be a good pick. And then if I had to rank it, then 4 would be Calvin Ridley. Like I said, it's rare that you put these things out and it's like, well, we're putting out and it's well documented that the Cowboys have ties to Calvin Ridley. Well, the rest of the league knows that. They're going to want to see what's going to happen. And let's say, for example, Green Bay, everybody has them slotted to take a defender. What if they want to help Aaron Rodgers out and get another receiver? Lost Jordy Nelson. So think outside the box. Baltimore, Green Bay, a couple other spots. Calvin Ridley could go. Chicago's not out of question, even though they probably need help on that defense. So just keep these things in mind. It's your boy Foots the King. Kind of just wanted to do this video because they're going to take somebody from Alabama. It's looking like. We just got to figure out who. Let me know who you guys think. Peace.